This program is brought to you by Connie Doto of Connie Doto Realty Group, 119 Pleasant Street, Methuen. When you want results, don't make a move without us.
Welcome to the first edition of the Doto Realty View. My name is Connie Doto. I'm the owner of Connie Doto Real Estate Group here in Methuen. I have been helping people buy, sell, and rent homes for the past 11 years. I have decided to develop and launch a show to give back to the community that's been so gracious to embrace both me and my company. Each month, we will be bringing you topics concerning all aspects of home ownership. Some of the topics will include making your home energy efficient, how to prepare your home for sell or rent, how to be prepared as a homeowner to purchase a home, and to make your home safe. Our goal is to educate, and we hope the show will help you in whatever stage of home ownership you are in. There is so much information out there that is either fiction or fact, and we want to make sure that you have the facts. That's why we'll invite guests here that are the professionals and will give you the facts on certain topics. Today we have Captain Mike Buitt here from the Methuen Fire Department. Thank you, Mike, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And he's the expert here on fire. So again, we are going to be going through a series of questions. I guess one big thing that we frequently get asked when we go to homes and talking with people, what's the biggest cause of fire?
Well, Connie, before we begin, I'm not the professional on fire. I'm the professional on fire prevention. So let's talk about fire prevention. Let's not talk about fire.
That's right.
But the biggest cause of home fires, as we know, are caused many different ways, by many different appliances, by faulty wiring, dryer fires. But the number one cause of home fires is cooking. Cooking fires is by far the number one cause of fires in a home. It's responsible for 1/3 of the fires in single and two-family homes, and it's also the cause of 2/3 of the fires in multifamily homes, dormitories, and rooming houses. So cooking fires, it's very, very important to be careful exactly how you're cooking, where you're cooking, and to make sure you're keeping an eye on what you're cooking, because there is no such thing as set it and forget it. Because when you forget it, trouble happens.
What do you think of the crock pots? I mean, as you said, set it and forget it. I mean, that's a big thing that I know people are using now.
Crock pots operate on a lower amperage, and they're what they call slow cookers.
Okay.
The things you have to be careful for is when you're cooking things on the stove, using grease, high flame fires, high oven temperatures, is where it becomes really dangerous. Even those set it and forget it, those, I believe they're made by Ronco, they're rotisseries, they get very hot. And it's very simple for some of these things to spark or to emit some hot greases, and the door is quite possibly can be open. So you have to keep an eye on everything you're cooking at all times. Never leave cooking unattended.
Okay, thank you. What is the best way for homeowners to protect themselves in their homes from property and life loss from a fire?
Well, we have a saying on the fire department, Connie, that says the easiest fire to put out is the one you prevent. So prevention is the number one way to protect your homes and your lives. Residential sprinklers are an up-and-coming law for all residences. They are required in the city of Methuen in some locations, but they are soon to be required in all homes. Fire sprinklers have been known to put out 90% of fires in a home before the fire department even arrives. Wow. So fire sprinklers are the number one protection when it comes to home fires, with saving your property and saving your lives. The next thing is smoke detectors. Although smoke detectors will not put out a fire, they will cut the chances in half of you surviving a fire. So by having smoke detectors, it will increase your your chances of survival by 50%. In fact, there's been studies shown, and in the 1970s, when smoke detectors were first invented, fire deaths in the home were cut in half. 50% of the fire deaths in the home occur in homes, of the 5% of homes, that do not have smoke detectors. So we have another saying in the fire service that smoke detectors do save lives.
Right. What's the difference between battery or hardwired smoke detectors?
Well, the hardwired smoke detectors are interconnected. What that means is they communicate with each other. So if you have an activation of a smoke detector in this room, the entire house, every smoke detector in the house will go off. The battery operated are operated individually and independent of each other. So the battery operated smoke detector could activate, and that is the only one that will activate. So you could be in the basement when there's an incident on the second or third floor, and you may not hear that. So the interconnected smoke detectors are by far superior to battery operated. And we have to keep in mind that above and beyond that, there are some interconnected smoke detectors that don't have battery backup. But currently, the new construction requires that all interconnected smoke detectors have battery backup also. In the event of a power failure, you'll still have protection.
You touched a bit upon what I'm going to ask you in the next question. What are the current requirements by law a homeowner should know when they're going to sell their home?
Well, all homes, whether they're sold or just transferred to someone, whether it's in the family or outside the family, are required to be equipped with smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. The exact requirement depends on when the home was built. The older homes don't have as much of a requirement because it was built under a previous building code, and it falls back to the building code. The newer homes are much more, the law is much more strict when it comes, which is a good thing for all of us, and that's another reason why I say that home sprinklers, which are the best way to protect yourselves, are coming soon, because eventually one of these building codes are going to state that fire sprinklers are required also.
Right. If somebody cannot afford smoke detectors, what would somebody do? Is there any assistance out there for people? Or?
I will say that I've worked with the Department of Public Health. They had a program where they were offering free smoke detectors to the seniors, to the elderly. And what they would do was they would equip me with many smoke detectors, as many as I needed, and we would contact the seniors, or they would contact us if they needed smoke detectors, and we would voluntarily, the fire department voluntarily, go out to these homes, teach the seniors on fire prevention in the homes, and install their smoke detectors where needed. The only problem with the program that the Department of Public Health and the state has run is that the smoke detectors that they were providing are not useful, and they do not meet the code in all areas of the home. And in that case, the homeowner would be responsible, in this case the senior, would be responsible for purchasing their own detectors that are required in certain areas of the home. And I won't get into the details of the different technologies, but it comes down to there's different technologies and smoke detectors that are required in different areas of the home.
When buying or selling a home, who checks for the smoke detectors? What's the process if you are?
When purchasing a home, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide are required to be inspected. The fire department will come out upon notification that a home is being sold or transferred, and they will inspect to assure that these smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors are located in the proper areas. When they confirm that they are, they will issue a certificate of compliance, which means that the homeowner has complied with the laws and the codes of smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector location. That certificate will be required at the close of the sale or transfer.
Okay. Another issue you touched upon it, the carbon monoxide detectors. I mean, how can people, in addition to that, how can they protect themselves from deadly gases?
Well, carbon monoxide, it's very important for people to understand that carbon monoxide is an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas, toxic gas. It's a byproduct of burning of a fossil fuel, such as oil, propane, wood, pellets, anything that has is carbon-based fuel. The only way to detect this toxic gas is through detectors. You cannot smell this, you cannot see this gas, you cannot taste it. What tends to happen is it will make you very tired, very lethargic, and God forbid you may not wake up once you fall asleep. So the only way to detect this is through carbon monoxide detectors, and that's why it is now required by law to have carbon monoxide detectors along with the smoke detectors, and the fire department will confirm that you have complied with those laws and codes when they go out and do their inspections of the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors.
So it's an actual smoke certificate, as you said, that the person would get upon selling?
That's correct. The fire department will go out there with a certificate, and once they do confirm that you have complied with the laws and codes, they will sign it, they will give it to you, and that is one piece of paper that you will need at your closing.
We talk about fire prevention in the first line of defense. What should a family have in place in case of a fire?
Well, some of the proper steps that homeowners should take when regarding fire hazards in the home, things as I touched on prior, sprinklers. Number one protection against fire, whether it comes to your life or just saving your property, loss of property. Fire detection, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and common sense practices. I touched early in the show about fire prevention is the number one way to put a fire out because it prevents the fire. So we need to practice home safety when it comes to fires. There's a lot of literature out there that the state puts out, our local website puts out, and the national website puts out. At the end of the show, I believe these websites will be on the screen, and people I urge to look into these websites and gather some information to help themselves. However, what I like to tell people is that the number one thing that you should have in place in your home is a fire escape plan. Fire exit drills are very important in the home as much as they are in schools or in businesses. I tell people always know 2 ways out of your house. 2 ways out of your house, and practice that drill periodically with all members of your household. And make sure that when you get outside, you have a meeting place so that you know that everybody has gotten out and they are safe. Great.
I have to say this has been very informative to me, and I'm sure for the community. There's a lot of information out there. I know you brought some material that we will post them on after the credits here to show where they can go to the websites, and can always come to our website as well. But again, viewers would like to get questions that you have, get them into us, and we'll get the experts again to answer those questions. You're right, you're fire prevention, not fire, so I do appreciate that. And again, thank you for coming.
My
I do appreciate
pleasure,
it. Thank you.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back to our second segment of safety. We have Sergeant Jim Gunter here, and I'd like to thank you for coming, Jim.
You're welcome.
We're going to be asking a series of questions like we did for the first segment. First question, we're going to step right into it, is to ask how can homeowners protect their most precious physical asset?
Well, there's a few things, Connie. First, we'd like to call it crime prevention through environmental design. And what that is the appearance of your house. Criminals by nature are lazy. They don't want to have to work to commit their crimes. They're looking for an easy target. So if they see your house and the shrubs and the hedges or haven't been taken care of in a while and it's blocking windows or it's actually blocking the area for the front porch, they may say, oh, that's an easy target, and come look for that. So we recommend that people trim your hedges back, make sure that if the trees are near the house that you trim those as well. Some other things that we like to tell people is don't stack stuff up if you have a front porch in front of the windows on the front porch. Make sure that stuff is clear. Motion lights are really good for at nighttime. I would recommend a motion light in the front of the house, near the driveway and the door, as well as in the back of the house. And if you're going to hide a key to your house, which we don't recommend, don't just stick it under the front mat. Don't do it in a normal place. Come up with a system with your family that if for some reason somebody is stuck, they lost their key or they forgot it, that you have a different spot for it. Alarm systems, very key. Alarm systems work very well. And with the alarm system, make sure you have the signage that says you have the alarm system. So those are some of the things that we recommend.
That was one of the questions you started getting into, the alarm systems. Well, what's your view on alarm systems? I mean,
I think alarm systems are excellent. If I could recommend, there are different types of alarm systems out there. There's many companies. They're all suited to be able to put alarms in your house. But what I would recommend is just make sure you have an alarm system that is monitored by a monitoring company. That way, if the alarm goes off in your house, they're going to contact the police, and that way we will respond. Sometimes if you don't have a monitoring company, the alarm will just go off and then they'll try to contact you. So it's better that we get the alarm and we respond and make sure that no one's breaking into your house.
Okay. With the time change happening, clocks moving back soon, and it will be getting darker earlier, what can homeowners do to really protect their home?
Well, like I had said, the motion lights are huge because, as you said, it gets dark a lot earlier. I know sometimes it'll be dark by 4:30 at night. So the motion lights are very key. And just make yourself, if you're not home, set up these timer lights, set up the lights on the timer. I know that if I'm going to be going out, sometimes I'll leave my TV on. That way there's an appearance that someone is home. So you just want to make it so you're not an easy target for the criminals.
With all the social media that's out there,